Start that up. Move. Oh no, we're going to. Oh no. Because I think I already went to the prison. Oh yeah, because I talked to Mr. Saseki, who's. There's something weird about him. Wonder why it's grayed out. Anyway, let's go to Sholmes's place. Maybe grayed out means that we don't need to go there right now. Oh, cutscene. Why are the cutscenes so quiet?
Thank you very much. It's just up there overlooking the street. Good day.
Thanks.
Again. This is it. The residence of Mr. Herlock Showers.
I mean, then again, it's just kind of quiet to me because I have the volume down since it's going through speakers. Okay, so we're here. Sholmes' suite. Okay. So this is where the great detective makes his living. It feels surreal to be here somehow. It's also very quiet. Let's go to options. Let me check something. Oh, everything's on. Is there just there's no slider. Okay, well that's good to know. That's kind of a weird thing. Yep. Is he here? Is it as described in the stories, Miss Susato? Susato-san? Oh no, she's doing the thing. No. Oh, she's just in awe. Many, many famous cases have been solved here in this very room. Oh, I suppose they must have been, yes? Never read the story, so it's hard to get quite as excited about it as she seems to be. The detective chases the villain relentlessly as he disappears into the fog down an unlit London street. Oh, the thrill of it, the romanticism. Can't you feel your heart thumping in your chest? Can't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, I suppose I can, yes? So, if you don't mind, I'll just stand here and soak up the atmosphere for a while longer. Please, don't mind me. She's obsessed. Well, I mean, everybody's gotta have a hobby, right? Well, looks like our detective friend isn't home at present. Excuse me, is anybody home? Oh, do we have a visitor? Hell, it's hello? Who are you? Wait, I think we met her before, but I don't remember anything about her. I think we only met her for like a very short amount of time. Hello, is it a big new case for Mr. Sholmes? Hello. Wait, aren't you? Yeah, I get it. Oh, how rude of me. I'll go and make some tea at once. No, I need to know who you are, tiny child. I'm sure it's the same girl. Miss Susato, did you see the girl who was just here? Oh yes, isn't it truly extraordinary? To think that the King of Bohemia came to this very room to ask Mr. Sholmes to take on his case. The King of Waria? We're not very worldly. King Wilhelm Gottsreich Sigmundsson von Ormstein, of course. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Forget the adventures of Herlock Sholmes for a moment and look over there. The tea's brewed, and I have a freshly baked cake as well. Okay. Ah, it's you. I knew it. Susato-san recognizes her too. Wait, flashback. Oh, there you are. Oh. And taking that with you, so you know, oh yeah, she knows the child. I know the child random experimentals. Oh, you're the one who made the smoke grenade launcher. Okay. Oh, good day to you. I'm the inventor, I suppose, of that machine. Did we get, I guess we didn't get her name. It's the girl who turned up at the end of Mr. McGilded's trial in the defendant's antechamber. I've never met a lawyer from the Far East before. Poor you having to get straight to work when you've only just arrived in London. Oh, yes, it was, challenging. Well, try this tea. It's my special blend, you know. Oh, is it gonna taste terrible? Thank you. Is tea supposed to look that color? Oh no, are we gonna die? Oh my, what a fragrant yet mellow flavor. Ah, it's a winner. I tried blending different leaves designed to alleviate fatigue, you see. You must be exhausted after your long voyage here, and you have another ticklish trial tomorrow. Who says that about a trial? Oh, and you're to defend a Japanese man. I do wish you lots and lots of luck. What does that mean? Did Mr. Sholmes tell you about us by any chance? Oh, you know Hurley, do you? Hurley? Mr. Sholmes, to you, Shirley, Mr. Sholmes was a fellow passenger on the boat that brought us to Great Britain, you see. Was he really? Well, I had no idea. Well, I mean, he probably doesn't know much about... There's a lot of shoes and random things. I'm afraid Hurley's out on an errand again today, even though he's just returned from overseas. Wait a minute. We met this girl for the first time ever yesterday after the trial, and only briefly at that. How on earth does she know so much about us? Yeah. Did she deduce all those things, you think? And perhaps more to the point, why is she here in Mr. Sholmes' suite? Oh, silly me, I haven't introduced myself, have I? No, who are you? Are you Watson? Is Watson the little anime girl? It's Iris. Okay. It's a great pleasure to meet you both. My name is Iris Wilson. I live here together with Hurley. Okay. Iris, is it? What a lovely name. What? What's the matter? No, wait. This can't be. Did you say that your name is Wilson? What's the matter with Suzato-san? Why is she so flustered all of a sudden? Yes, that's right. And what are your names? Oh, I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a lawyer from Japan. Oh, sorry. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, Suzato Mitoba. It's wonderful to Mikotoba. It's wonderful to meet you. Sorry, I was trying to read it as fast as she seemed to be saying it. Lovely, Susie and Runo. Got it. That's not what we said at all. Susie and Runo? There's more to this girl than meets the eye. Yeah, I have so many questions for her. I don't know where to start. Yes, and so do I. Wait, wasn't that in my head? Well, I guess we have questions. Iris. It was you that we ran into yesterday, wasn't it? At the Old Bailey. Yes, that's right. You were ever so helpful. Thank you so much. Oh, no, not at all. I'm so sorry we couldn't have been more welcoming. Though at the time, we did have a rather large gun pointed at us. Oh, this you mean? That's an even bigger one. Like this? Thinking back now, you left with Miss Lestrade in tow, didn't you? Oh, yes, that awkward witness, Gina Lestrade. Oh, Guinea? Yes, she's a professional pickpocket. So we found out. It was very naughty of her to pinch my invention like that. Are you referring to that trial-disrupting gun-like contraption? Exactly. So I followed her, you see, to get it back. Perhaps I should think about a fitting self-destruct mechanism in my inventions. Do I have one of those? This girl is dangerous. Yeah. Anyway, I brought Ginny back here after all that. Oh, wait. You know, I want to check something. People. I want to know how old she is. She's 10. She's 10. I was about to say, it's really hard to tell if people are children or not. She's super young. An extraordinary young girl who lives with Mr. Sholmes. She has a degree in medicine. She's 10. And is the author of a popular series of She's 10. What the hell is with these prodigies? Also, this guy pretending to be British. This man with no chin. A strong heart, who's 52. There's a lot of... They're all over the place with these ages. Okay. Anyway, I brought Ginny back here after that, so she could apologize to my trusty technician. Your technician? Oh, how many characters are we going to be introduced to? Hurley, of course, silly. But I thought he was... What? He's not... Hurley? Yes, Herlock Sholmes. We live here together. Yeah, I get it. I had no idea the great detective had such an interesting young daughter. Daughter? Not likely. What? I wouldn't call him Hurley if he was my father, would I? I don't know. People call their dads whatever. Well, then, what is your relationship with Mr. Sholmes? Well, I expect you found out that lodgings of any kind in London are very expensive, so he's just your roommate. He just has a 10-year-old roommate. So the solution is to share the cost with a partner, a roommate. You're 10! You're roommates? I hope you don't mind me asking, Iris, but how old are you? 10 at last this year. Well, what of your mother and father? Oh no, they are not around. What does that mean? Are they dead? Oh, I see. I wonder what the story is there. Yeah. Why are you 10 and paying to live? Oh, yes, there's something I must ask you. Of course. Go ahead, Susie. Don't stop that. I am a very great fan of the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, and, oh, you have a copy of Ranced magazine? Yes, I read every issue. It's delivered all the way to Japan on a ship. Oh, this is so exciting. My stories are being read on the other side of the world. My stories? That's right. Hurley is always solving such amazing cases, you see, and he tells me all about them, so I make money off of them. They really are quite fascinating. It would be such a shame if I was the only one who ever heard about them, don't you think? Goodness! Last night he was telling me all about a new case he just solved on a steamship traveling from a faraway land. So I was just in the middle of typing up the manuscript for the next issue before you came. Oh my god. What is going on? Also, it's pouring outside again. Guess I'm glad I got through Pokemon Community Day before that. So you are the author? Yeah, I get the royalties. Yes, I'll let you in on a secret if you like. I'm going to call this latest adventure The Speckled Band. The Speckled Band? That's certainly very familiar. Of course, I always change one or two details in the stories, here and there, yeah, for fantastification and all that, to make sure that people do stuff, buy your stuff. This time, I had the idea of making a venomous snake be the cause of all the trouble. Oh, that was Mr. Sholmes' first thought as well, actually, but it was wrong. Yes, and of course I know that a snake might not be a credible fit for the facts of the case exactly, but that's how you sell books. It's a story. Some poetic license is justified to make it more thrilling, I think. Don't you? No, you're lying to people. Wow, Susato, she embellished every story that you know and love. How does that make you feel? So you mean to say, are the stories about Mr. Sholmes that are published in the Ranced magazine all written by me? Yes. On my wonderful and very modern typewriter. But all the stories I've ever read are written by a doctor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson. Susato-san's getting more and more worked out. Yeah, well, all of her dreams are shattering. Ah, yes, that's me. I mean, my name really is Wilson. But what about the doctor of medicine part? That's all true, too. I am a doctor of medicine. You're only 10. You need so many years of medicine. You can't just become a doctor. No, at 10 years old? At 10 years old? Well, that's quite incredible. But, Dr. Wilson is an English gentleman. Ah, yes. I did alter the setting slightly for the stories to be more compelling. Wow, you are destroying Susato's everything. Oh. Well, it sounds a little strange, doesn't it? A great detective with a 10-year-old girl in tow. I mean, I suppose it does, yes. Poor Suzada-san. She looks like her whole world has just fallen apart. It has, I mean, for sure. Your deductions just now. About before. Yeah, God, this is just, there's a lot going on. Yes, what's on your mind, Runo? Do tell me. Don't call me that. How did you know that I was a lawyer and we just arrived in London, I mean? Yes. Oh, and that we have a difficult trial tomorrow. How did you know all of that? Oh, that's what you mean. Please tell us how you did it. Explain every detail. Of course, I'd be delighted. Although there's really no mystery. Now let's begin. Are we doing the dance of deduction with this child? Iris Wilson is proud to present her logic and reasoning spectacular. No, I don't wanna do it. I'm tired. Just give me the facts. First of all, I already knew you were a lawyer, Runo. Because of the pin on your arm, duh. After all, I met you yesterday at the Old Bailey in the defendant's antechamber. But you also said that we'd only just arrived in London. How did you know that? I observed a passport and travel ticket protruding from your breast pocket. Oh, so I was reasonably confident that you must have only just arrived in the country. Okay. Wow, you're actually like a billion times smarter than Herlock Sholmes already. And on top of that, you accepted a case against that particular prosecutor, telling me you were unaware of London's court affairs. The Reaper of the Bailey? I walked right into that one, didn't I? Then I noticed the red ink stamp on the back of Susie's hand. You were given that when you visited the local prison to meet with a suspect, weren't you? Earlier today. Ah. Oh. They use those stamps to keep a close eye on comings and goings, you see. I didn't realize. And a red stamp is only used for people visiting foreign inmates. Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense. So that told me that even though you had only yesterday concluded the trial of Magnus McGilded, that the two of you had already had cause to visit a foreign inmate at a local prison. However, neither of you was wearing a particularly sad expression on your face, so I concluded that the prisoner was unlikely to be a friend or a relative. Oh, Jesus. That led me to believe that you must have accepted a new case. I see. But how could you have known that the trial is tomorrow? Oh, well, having barely been home a few hours yesterday, Hurley solved yet another case. It obviously amused him. He told me he'd caught a Japanese man who was bawling and trembling. Rude. A Japanese man? Well, clearly that must have been, Mr. Natsume, with his drawn-on eyebrows. Now Runo has that fancy Japanese sword. And I think your outfit is called a kimono, isn't it, Susie? Well, anyway, it was clear to me that you both come from Japan yourselves. So I put two and two together and decided you must be defending the Japanese man Hurley caught. And there was only one conclusion those facts could lead me to. You both came here to ask Hurley about the case. Wow, her dance of deduction is spot on, unlike somebody else's. There's a note on the mantelpiece that says the man's trial will be tomorrow. Hurley is always stabbing his notes with a knife, you see. Or, you know, he is silly. And that's about all there is to it, really. Thank you for listening. I'm Iris Wilson, and that was one of my great deductions. Well, was it a winner? Were my deductions correct? They were spot on, funnily enough. That was amazing, Iris. Truly a great deduction. You even managed the certain something of Mr. Sholmes' delivery. Oh, well, I was just copying Hurley's style for that. This is really very good news. You could tell us all about the case involving the Japanese man. You will, won't you, Iris? Please. Oh, okay. Oh gosh, I feel like there's even more talking in this game than any other game I've done with Ace Attorney so far. So yesterday, Mr. Sholmes apprehended a Japanese man, you were saying? Yes. Hurley had just arrived back in London after a sea voyage. But the police were waiting for him at the railway station to take him directly to the crime scene. The great detective is a popular man, it seems. Apparently, a woman was stabbed on a quiet street somewhere in town. There were witnesses who had seen a short, shifty-looking, stooped man running away from the scene. Short, shifty-looking, stooped man? Mr. Natsume, without a doubt. Saseki-san said he didn't see anybody else on the street at all. But it seems there were witnesses after all. Also, I keep going into the red, and I'm not sure why. With my, I'll just have to reduce the volume a little bit of the mic. Because I don't want to be blasting everybody's ears out. It seems there were witnesses after all. Hurley used his great deductive powers to determine the man's address. It was a lodging room very nearby. He went directly there with the police, and what did they find? A short, shifty-looking, stooped man shivering in fear. Ugh. Mr. Sholmes' great deduction certainly hit the mark this time. Of course it did. He's a great detective. You know, I've got a lot of reasons to think he's not as great as you think, Susato, but whatever. Still, that means the incident occurred only 2 days ago. Surely tomorrow is too soon for the trial, isn't it? Definitely. We have no time to investigate properly. Hurley says that London is rife with crime. Oh, Scotland Yard is doing its best, but they can't stay on top of it, apparently. Oh dear, I hadn't realized the situation was so dire. That's why they can't afford to spend too much time investigating cases and trying the criminals in court. Staff and money are both short. Crimes are usually pinned on the first suspicious person. That seems bad. That's terrible. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I suppose that's the harsh reality of the workings of the world's greatest justice system. I don't know about that. I suppose it is, but in that case, I don't hold out much hope for Saseki-san. Okay, do we finally uncover all the topics? Thank you for answering so many of our questions, Iris. This has been very informative. Oh, you're most welcome. I've had so much fun. Do you happen to know where Mr. Sholmes is at the moment? As you guessed, we'd like to ask him some questions about this case as well. Oh, well, I expect Hurley is still investigating the scene. Of the case involving Mr. Natsume, you mean? Yes, Mr. Natsume? Hurley said he was going to the man's lodgings. If you leave now, you'll probably catch him there. Iris, do you know where those lodgings are? Well, I imagine the police are still investigating the scene of the crime themselves, aren't they? Did you happen to come across a detective by the name of Gregson when you were there? Yes, we know Inspector Gregson. Goody, in that case, give Gregsy this from me, would you? If you do that, I'm sure he'll tell you what you need to know. What is this? A 5-shilling piece and a postcard, it seems. Iris's postcard has been entered in the court record. Card for Inspector Gregson with a message on the back from Iris. Why does it have... Is that a bribe? I don't know how much a shilling is. It reads, tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem. Gosh, this will make the inspector help us, will it? Well, thank you, Iris. We'll give it a try. Thanks. Am I going to go to jail for bribing? Good luck, then. I'm going to return to writing my manuscript, The Speckled Band. And I'll be making more special blends of tea, so come back again soon. We'd be delighted. Thank you so much, Iris. Okay, I don't know if I'd be delighted. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, it's back to the scene of the crime. Oh, boy. So somewhat dubious that they would exert any influence over the men of Scotland Yard at all, we headed back to the scene with Iris's curious note and one of the world's heaviest silver coins in hand. To be continued. That was fast. Okay. How much is a shilling today? How is an English shilling? What is this? No. USD. Yeah. Like, I'm trying to figure out how much a shilling was. Okay, a shilling. Nah. Shilling was a measure of blah, blah, but in Dickens' day, how much would it be worth today? The modern shilling. Oh, apparently shillings, it's an African thing now. Shillings Dickens' day. A shilling in 1843, when Dickens published A Christmas Carol, has the buying power of about $6 today, which means 5 shillings is like $30, which is a pretty decent amount of money, like just to toss on something. Okay, well, this is interesting. I learned something today. Shillings are worth a decent amount of money. Save. The Adventure of the Clouded Cooker. I hate that. No, okay. No. I already saved. Back. Next. Okay, we're back here, and we're gonna hand over this probably not a bribe. Looks as though the police are still here, carrying on with their investigation. Perfect. So let's find Inspector Gregson as quickly as possible. Yes, and let's see if he'll take a break from his chips to look at that silver tip Iris gave us for him. I feel like that's a bribe. Hi. Oh, wait, I need to show you the thing. Court record. Wait, let's take a look. What are we gonna say? This is a 5 shilling piece, isn't it? I believe it's called a crown. Oh, crowns are worth a lot. Yes, you can train Scotland Yard detective to do whatever you want with just a single one. That sounds bad. Iris must be the most powerful 10-year-old in the world. How much is 5 shillings, by the way? What's it really worth? Well, it's probably enough to buy all the chips the inspector could possibly eat in a whole month. That's greasy. What's on the backside? Yeah, tell it that won't be a problem. Iris's little handwriting is adorable, isn't it? Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem. Yes, the handwriting might be adorable. The message is ominous. There's no room for sentiment there. I'm sure it's simply the way you're interpreting it, Mr. Naruhodo. Anyway, I do hope the inspector will tell us what we need to know when he reads it. You don't think it'll just make him munch piping hot chips until steam comes out of his ears, do you? Well, that wouldn't be an entirely terrible outcome. I don't know. I feel like it would be pretty bad for us. Okay, we have to, present. There we go. No, I don't want to look at it. I want to present it. X. God, I'm playing too many Xbox games. Inspector Gregson, do you have a moment? I'm sorry to say, don't. I'm a very busy man. Much too busy to talk to a pair of foreign gadabouts, that's for sure. That's mean. We have these for you. A present from Miss Iris Wilson. Not a bribe. What? For me? From her ladyship? What? So you don't like Sherlock Holmes, but what? Her ladyship? Give that here at once. Come on, hand it over. That's for me. Sir, what is going on? God, don't wait for me to give it to you, will you? What was that coin exactly? It's a silver crown, obviously, but it's a lot more than that. It's an appearance fee. That's what it is. Are you sure it's not a bribe? Are we using every possible word to not call it a bribe? An appearance fee? Oh, I see. You mean, That's right. For the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Her ladyship always offers me a little financial reward for featuring me every time. Is that it? Yes, of course. I know all about your exploits, Inspector. I read them avidly. Of course, her using my name without my say-so does make me the butt of a lot of unpleasant jokes, but still. Sorry, Inspector, that must be difficult for you. Never you mind that. So, what do you want to know about, then? Sorry? Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem, it says. Well, obviously, it's not a problem. Go on, fire away. What do you want to know? Why this 10-year-old is so important to you? Is that something we can talk about? Well, if you wouldn't mind, Inspector, we'd very much like to know the address of Mr. Natsume's lodgings. Ah, the little knife-wielding mustache Japanese fellow. He lives in a right old hovel. It's just over there. Look! It's literally right there, on the first floor of that house in the corner where that wreck of a bicycle's propped up. That is nearby indeed. Like, it's right across the street. If I remember rightly, the landlord is a Mr. John Garadeb. Right, well, if you see her again, you make sure you give her ladyship my regards, you hear? I mean it, you tell her that Gregson sends his very best wishes. No, don't worry, Inspector, we will. Goodbye for now, then, and long live her ladyship. What is going on? I don't like this. Well, at least he told us what we wanted to know before he left. Yes, so then, shall we go and see what we can find in Mr. Natsume's lodgings? Definitely. Okay, well... well, I guess we're moving to... A new location has been added, thanks. Well, can you let me go there? 19th of February, Mr. Natsume's lodgings. Oh, hello. May I help you? Yes. Would this be the residence of Mr. John Garadeb? Indeed, it would be, sir. And who may I say is calling? My name's Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I am. Why does that man have like freaking like mortar on his fireplace? Mr. Naruhodo is representing Mr. Soseki Natsume. I believe he takes lodgings here. Oh. Did we hit a nerve? We'd very much like to ask him some questions about our client. Okay. We get that you're very jiggly and surprised. What's going on? One moment, please. I shall convey the message to Mr. Garadeb. Did you see that, Mr. Susato? Or Miss Susato? Fuck, I messed up. Because it showed her. That was a real-life English maid! I know. As I understand it, anyone of standing in English society employs a number of household staff. But that was the first time I'd ever seen one in the flesh. Oh, this day keeps getting better. Certainly feels like we've really arrived now, doesn't it? We need only to meet a butler and the experience will be complete. Well, I'm not sure if I'd go that far, but I understand the sentiment. Okay. Thank you for waiting. Mr. Garadeb will see you now. This way. Oh, hello? Do I have to examine him? Good day to you. John Garadeb at your service. Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. He's a defense lawyer. Do excuse me not getting up. Took a shot to the knee a few years back in the Battle of Maywand, don't you know? Earned a medal for my pains, but had to withdraw from service. Handed over the reins to the up-and-comings. So he's a retired soldier. It's a hell of a job getting up and downstairs now, I can tell you. Don't get out much, as you can imagine. Yes, it's quite the climb up here to the second floor, isn't it? I was panting at the top of the stairs. You really must take more exercise, Mr. Naruhodo. Yeah, that's pretty sad, actually. Do you think so? Well, Mr. Garadeb, no doubt you were very courageous to earn yourself a medal. Oh, it was nothing. The medal's just a folderol, really. Wouldn't like to offend the general, though, so I grudgingly displayed it on the wall. Why don't you fetch it down, Joan? Let these good people see it properly. That's your... Joan, fetch the... Ah! What is wrong with this lady? Dash it all, woman, be careful. Oh, dearie me, I do beg your pardon, sir. What is wrong with these people? You jolly near took the skin off my hands. I shall be more careful, sir. So anyway, there you have it. Living the quiet life now. Yes, I see. Now then, I hear you want to know about the chap lodging downstairs, is that right? Yes, we would be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us. Only too pleased, naturally, especially if it helps to keep the peace here in Blighty. No. We forged an alliance with the Empire of Japan recently, I'm sure you're aware. So this case is very much in the public eye, as it were. Oh, is it? That's not what you use a pipe for. Even had some famous detective poking around, you know, in this old house, would you believe? Yes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Could have been, didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea, all that detective business. Oh, but you have a copy of Ranced magazine here, so, Anyway, the chap's investigating the foreign's room as we speak. So he's in Saseki-san's room. It's a bally nuisance is what it is. The whole neighborhood's twitching its curtains now. I don't like all this fuss. It's jolly unsettling. Okay, well, let's talk to you about it. About Mr. Natsume then, Mr. Garrett, please do tell us, Oh, yes, the Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week. Oh, just 1 week? Okay, that's not very long at all. So he moved in very recently then. I have 2 lodgers most of the time, one on the ground floor and one just below us. First floor became available a week ago, you see. There'd been... Okay, what is wrong with this woman? She's trying to shut him up for some reason. Did you stab her? Is that what's happening here? God, there's still a lot of really annoying characters. I mean, I guess that's just Ace Attorney, but it's like, lady, calm down. Dash it all, Joan, do be careful. Oh my goodness, I'm terribly sorry, sir. Fire her, she's terrible at her job. If you want to know my opinion, I thought he was a shady sort from the moment I set eyes on him. Stop slapping your cheeks. Oh, why? He seemed to have a most nervous disposition, always shaking and looking over his shoulder. I don't know, maybe because you guys treat them like ass there? The man had shady written across his sweat-soaked brow, if you ask me. I said to myself, Joan, that man is troubled. Sooner or later, he's going to do something untoward. And I'm rarely wrong about anything. Of course you're rarely wrong. We won't be calling this maid as a witness, that's for sure, yeah. Was there anything else that struck you as suspicious about the man at all? Oh, yes, indeed there was. And she's dying to tell us. Oh, God, the shady lot. Oh, yeah. Had you noticed anything else at all about your lodger, Mr. Natsume? No, Natsume. Wait, isn't that... What? Oh, I'm talking about him, because I was like, wait, what are you talking about? On my word, yes, the man was shadier than an orchard. What? Can you elaborate? Well, take the man's room. Absolutely stuffed full of books it is. More than anyone could ever read. What's wrong with liking books? And he never so much as passes the time of day with another living soul. I haven't seen a single visitor call. He's a foreigner. What do you expect? He just trots off to that old bookshop every single day and comes back at 5 to light the gas fire. And the funny little man is up long past the time everyone else in the house has gone to bed, too. Hey, Dixies, how are you doing? Oh, I see. The gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed at around 9 each night, but I've never known that Japanese fellow to retire any earlier than 2 in the morning. Well, maybe it's also because of, jet lag? Ah. Could you clarify something, I wonder? What, pray? I'm doing all right today. How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine? How would you know he's up until 2 a.m.? Oh, yeah. I'd understood that neither of the lodgers live on this floor of the house. Is that correct? That's right, yes. They're both below us, on the first floor and street level. Why are you sweating as well? Then, how is it that you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times that they come back in the evening, for example. Even the times they go to bed. Stop! No, don't do that! Oh, God. This woman is really annoying. I'm not even gonna say it again. Oh, goodness, I'm terribly sorry, sir. Like, this is just annoying at this point. I can tell you're hiding information from me. Something doesn't add up here. Yeah, you think so, Ryunosuke? The incident 2 days ago. It seems that the incident took place at around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out of the window at around that time? Is he supposed to look like the moon? I mean, I guess. His name is Garadeb, and I can't really tell if that's supposed to be a pun. I'm very confused. The window. What you're playing, just nipped in to say I hope you have a good stream. Thank you, RC. I hope that you're doing well. I'm going to assume that you were at your parents' house. It's okay. I'm very confused as to what's going on right now, and I also kind of hate the people that I've run into. So, you got to tell Zunder to keep advancing the story. The window over there looks out over Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement just on the far side of the street. Was there anyone suspicious loitering nearby? Also, I think I talked to Zunder about this before, but my God, the amount of dialogue in this game seems even more than the last game, which is, I mean, and I know that this game is a visual novel in its very essence, but it just feels like there's a lot more text than before. I could be wrong, though. It might just have been a while since the last time I played. 5 o'clock is dinner time in the Garadeb household, so I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. How about you, Joan? No, sir. It would have been dusk outside already at that hour. And with the fog as well, I should think that it would have been quite impossible to see the other side of the road. Well, I see. Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary then? Did you hear a lady, I don't know, maybe yell? Such as? Anything at all, even if it seems unrelated. Well. Yes? Oh, is there something then? Well, it's nothing particularly significant, but around that sort of time here... Oh my God! She's definitely hiding information, Yeah, watch what you're doing. Oh, dearie me, what have I done? I'm awfully sorry, sir. I'm so tired of this. It's like the 6th time it's happened. Do be more careful, woman! Of course, sir. No, if I may, Naruhodo. No, Mr. Naruholo. It's Naruhodo. Oh, yes. I have an exceedingly good memory, and as far as I remember, nothing of any significance took place here at that hour. Nothing at all. Yeah, it sounds like you're not hiding anything. Oh, really? Mr. Garadeb? The way you were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been. Oh, well, as I was saying, it's just... Begging your pardon, sir. Nothing happened. Okay, she is definitely hiding something. Can we get her out of here? Yes, quite. Nothing happened. We sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal. Joan? That's right, Mr. Garadeb. You're... Jesus fucking Christ. It's not that hard to understand that something is going on here, and she's hiding something. Yeah, what is the matter with these two? I've been asking the same question since the second time she poured tea on him, Ryunosuke. But hello, Andy. Yeah, she is. Sounds like something happened here in this room on that evening of the incident, but what? Wish I knew. Mr. Natsume's room. Okay. Could you tell us which floor Mr. Natsume's room is on? Why, certainly, just below us on the 1st floor. And Mr. Sholmes is investigating there even as we speak? Yes, told me Nats, his name, had to look in the matter, so I gave him the key. Mr. Natsume has engaged Mr. Sholmes' services? That's a blatant lie. Would it be all right if we also took a look around Mr. Natsume's room, I mean? Don't see why not. It's just one flight of stairs. Who knows if we'll find anything that could help us with the case, but we have to try, especially since they're not any help at all. We need all the clues we can lay our hands on, shall we? Yes, and while we're there, we can speak with Mr. Sholmes again. Perhaps he'll be able to tell us more. Yeah, there's definitely something wrong with these two. I'm not gonna look around because it doesn't really matter. We're going back. Going to Mr. Nut. Yes, a new location. Thanks. A small dark room rented by a visiting scholar from the Empire of Japan by the name of Soseki Natsume. We know this. And we know something's the matter, but we have no idea what, because they're lying to us. That is an awful lot of books. Okay, that's more books than I thought that she meant. February 19th, Mr. Natsume's room. What? Just look at this place. Yeah, it's kind of messy. And smell it. It's so musty in here. I suppose it's the mountains of old books that are responsible for that. Susato, you okay? I don't think I've ever seen so many books in all my life. No, me neither. It's so dark in here, too. Is that the window over there? Well, it was the window, I think, yes, once upon a time. For some reason, it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. So this is where Mr. Natsume lives. Doesn't seem like a great place to live, to be perfectly honest. By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anywhere. Have you? No, that's true, but according to what Mr. Garadeb told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating. Well, first things first, we're looking at this cat. Oh, it's a very cute cat. Mr. Sholmes with a May the entire... Oh, that'd be oh, bye? Oh my, what an adorable little cat. Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master is away. Dead, well, I mean, could be. I don't know about that. He disappeared into that pile of books as quick as a flash. It was a tricolor Mikey, wasn't it? Do they even have this sort of cat here in Great Britain? What? Isn't it just a calico? Perhaps Mr. Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan. That's made me feel homesick now. Already? We've only been in the country for 2 days. Yeah, and it sucked like every second. We've been accused of things and also had to do things and people have died. It's been bad. Oh, look, it's a beckoning cat from home. It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely Mr. Natsume didn't bring that Maneki Neko all the way back from Japan with him. I hardly think you're in a position to comment, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you forgetting the enormous Daruma doll that you brought in your luggage? Well, it can be dangerous traveling abroad. I wanted a lucky charm. Well, I imagine Mr. Natsume wanted the same, and this cat is sure to beckon good luck to him. It's not doing a very good job so far, is it? Wow. You mustn't say such things. Isn't that stuff I'm saying in my head? I didn't say a word. Why are my eyes such a giveaway? Okay, like, there's no inner talk. That desk seems to be wedged into a crevasse beneath the mountains of books on either side. Suppose Mr. Natsume would sit here and read while stroking his cat. But surrounded on all sides by these towering old tomes, surely he dreamt of books every night as well. Yes, he must have done, mustn't he? Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from a secondhand bookshop. Your books. Oh yes, Mr. Natsume's name on it. Look, and the date of purchase. 2 days ago at 4:45 p.m. That's the day of the incident. That's just a short while before he was embroiled in the terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying some books. Burying some bodies. Receipt discovered in Mr. Natsume's room for some books he had purchased from a secondhand bookshop before the incident occurred. Also, how would they have been able to tell if he was still awake when you can't tell any light, like, gets out of here, they would have had to be by his door. Can you even call this a window? I think so. It was a window at one time, after all. Although all that remains is a frame around some bricks now. So really, it's just a wall then, isn't it? But why would anyone deliberately brick it up like that? I'm afraid I have no idea. Ah! Perhaps Mr. Natsume painted the brick design on in a fit of whimsy. No, those are just straight up bricks. That's alarmingly feasible. Anyway, whatever the reason, the lack of ventilation in here makes the place very oppressive. It does. I imagine being cooped up in a room like this would be extremely trying. Look at all those books stacked up there. They're stacked to the ceiling. They're all works of English literature. They all smell so musty. With this volume of books on hand, you'd never be short of reading material, would you? No, what a dreamy idea. A bad dream, maybe, for me at least. Wow, are you saying that you don't like learning? Mind you, I don't imagine the book that's at the bottom of the pile will ever be read again. So reading is an experience that comes once in a lifetime, just as the tea ceremony teaches us. Certainly didn't expect the conversation to turn down the path of tea ceremony philosophy. I don't understand what the hell they're talking about. But let's look at this. Let's go over here. Oh, I don't want to talk to you, but I have to. You're just hanging out. It's, look, Mr. Naruhodo. Aha, there he is. Where did he appear from? He's been there the whole time. He seems to be engrossed in the pages of an old book. I hope you won't mind if we disturb him. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, you two, good day. Now, let me see. Where was it that we met? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, we were together on the SS Buria. Yes, of course, the Buria. And let me see, what happened on that voyage? It was Kazuma Asagi. He died tragically, but you were a great help to us. Ah, yes, but of course, the case of Mr. Asagi. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it? Oh, well, you seem to remember something of it at least. What an honor to be remembered vaguely by the great Herlock Sholmes. Suzato, you gotta drop this idolization of this dickbag. This is a Mr. Oh, no, my dear madame, hold your tongue. I pride myself on my superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic. Nobody calls it that, and you're gonna call me something wrong. I can just feel it. Miss Naruhodo and Mr. Suzato. You kind of got it, sort of. Try the other way around, Mr. Sholmes. I lose the first round. You do. You lose every round. In truth, I had hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London, but some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes. So they apprehended Saseki-san in that short of an amount of time? I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of my past involvements a little. So what you're telling me is you can't remember more than one thing at a time. Good to hear. A little? Yeah. I don't know, bro. You're sounding... It is a mistake to think that one's brain attic has elastic walls that can distend to any extent, actually. No, you just tell me that you're dumb, bro. It's okay. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones. Uh-huh. Is that what we call it? Yes, those are my own words of inimitable wisdom, you know, from an adventure entitled A Study in Scarlet. Please, there's no need to quote yourself. Yeah, no, seriously. I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but fortunately my associate pens them beautifully. Must mean Iris, I suppose. Mr. Sholmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned. Goodness, what an earnest expression. My dear madame, I should only be too pleased. Oh god, sorry. And this murky room is an apt place to discuss the murky case. Okay, well, tell me about the arrest. We know this to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Soseki Natsume. It seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes, for the stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road. Natsume. Yes, I believe it was her name, rather along those lines. But Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little? I'm sorry, Miss Susato, but I have not the slightest idea what you mean. What? I can't believe he was looking Susato-san squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance. I assure you I am not merely feigning ignorance. It would appear as if the pair of you are under some misapprehension. Oh, how? I assure you I have no recollection of accusing your stooped compatriot of the crime. But that doesn't make sense. The good detectives of Scotland Yard made the following request of me, and I quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene. A man seen fleeing. There were a number of books scattered about on the pavement at the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? I believe there was a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question. So you don't think Mr. Natsume is the culprit then? That I could not tell you, but it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books, I found myself quite lost in bibliophily. Jesus. What is it? I gotta get this word, wait. Bibliophily? Is that it? There's a lot of I's. Do not be deceived into believing that I am a man of leisure. No. Oh dear. Thanks, Mr. Garadeb. Can you tell me what's wrong with him and his dumb maid? Tell me. Have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings? Yes, Mr. Garadeb, a retired military man. It was the first time I've ever met a soldier from the great British institution that is the services. Why do you talk, God, with such reverence? He's in the military. It was the first time I ever met a maid from the great British institution that is service. They suck. I didn't think it was that funny. It would be pretty funny to watch. I haven't played it. Is it anything like Cat Mario, which is just like a bunch of bullshit? Because that's what it sounds like. Like with all of the hidden blocks and things and stuff. I do apologize. As you may be well aware, many households in London employ a maid. This one sucks. Really bad. Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain primer. And so conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standing of those dwelling therein. Betoken their social standing? Sorry? Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family. Goodness, how extraordinary. As you can appreciate, for those on precarious boundary between middle and lower class, being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance. I had no idea. And it is for precisely that reason that I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs, specifically in that the retired army veteran, Mr. John Garadeb. Oh? Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstances of the case, I am yet unable to ascertain. It most certainly does. He's hiding information, you dumb bastard. I'm thoroughly lost on what he means to say. It's not that hard, Ryunosuke. The dingy room. This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you any man whose lot is to dwell in a place such as this will stab someone sooner or later. I don't know. That seems like you're just saying that. Mr. Natsume has stabbed no one. But sooner or later, as I said. I don't believe that's the issue here. I think the issue is the fact that you said that he would stab somebody. About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea? No window? Well, I mean, I can clearly see that there's a window of sorts, but it's bricked up. Yeah. Ah, I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax. What? Window tax? What is that? Surely not a tax on windows. Precisely that. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Oh my goodness. Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows. Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home, perhaps rapidly closed windows up, while the rich opened windows here, there, and everywhere in an effort to curry favor with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money. How awful and unjust, forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, and I hate it, Dixies. Indeed, disease was rife as a result, so some 40 years ago or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as these, for example. I suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps. It would appear so. I've done a little digging and discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinary low price, which means that that guy's not really middle class. Because the room is so awful, I should think. Apparently, Mr. Natsume had only moved in here about 1 week ago. Learned in school, it's not... Yeah, well, I figured it was probably an older thing, but I mean, we do have some really stupid taxes, or had really stupid taxes in the past. I'm going to assume there was a whole lot of kickback from people, and that eventually got rid of it. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. Oh? Still, that is of little relevance here, a matter not worthy of further attention. Are you sure? I'm curious now. Well, I believe I've told you all that I can now. Really? That wasn't very helpful, actually. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes, I guess. Ah, yes. Mr. Naruhodo. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of the law? You remembered that, did you? Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? Well, you deduced that, at least. To the occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it? I'm not sure. Not sure? On what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday. Really? Well, then I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized, and so promptly, too. You see a good amount of buildings in London with window frames and no windows. They just never added a window after that. Oh, okay. I gotcha. The thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? To trust in their innocence? Yes, trust. Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he? My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea. Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate? Ah, yes, that was indeed my initial intention, but I have no attention span, and so I've been reading books. That's exactly what it is. He's so dumb. Oh, I see. Nevertheless, there are two facts I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room. And there are witnesses who swear to having seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say. And one more thing. Oh, what is it, Mr. Sholmes? I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance to this case, but I am quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. Okay, I'm glad he's at least smart enough to understand that there is something going on up there with the maid and the army man. Mr. Garadeb is. Mr. Sholmes said as much before, actually, didn't he? Anyway, at present, that is really all that plays on my mind in relation to this case. Mr. Naruhodo, as yet our investigations have uncovered nothing that could help establish Mr. Natsume's innocence. No, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probed a little deeper into Mr. Garadeb's secret. Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be of relevance or not. But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo. Okay, you're gonna go back to just reading books? A busy man indeed. He's gone back to his book in the corner of the room. Okay, I guess it's time to... We haven't been to this place in a while? What do you mean in a while? I was literally just there. Let's go back and see if anything's different. Ah, you pair again. Tell me, was the detective chap, I forget his name, still hard at work down there? Mr. Herlock Sholmes? Ah, yes, rings a vague bell. Oh, that detective business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid. Well, Mr. Sholmes is in his element down there. Jolly good show. Another cup of tea, if you please, Joan. She's gonna pour way too much in there because that's the thing that she does. Now then, why don't you tell me what arg? For the upteenth time, woman, will you watch what you're bally well doing? Like, at this point, it's just their thing, but I'm like, man, I don't know how many times you can do the same joke and it's gonna be funny. I shall be serving dinner shortly, sir. Ah, yes, of course. Frightfully rude of me, but I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take your leave if you'd be so kind. You guys are hiding something and I need to figure it out. Oh yes, of course. We are deeply grateful for all your assistance. It's not really been helpful at all. Not at all, not at all. Don't get much chance to talk with young foreigners like yourselves. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck and all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out. Wow, thanks. According to Mr. Sholmes, which is a thing. Oh yeah, no, I've heard that. Which is apparently why a lot of people rent out like rooms in their homes, because if you have a bedroom house, it's very expensive. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garadeb is hiding something. And since no other avenues of investigation seem open to us at the moment, perhaps we should do some digging. Okay, I guess we're going to examine stuff like this cannon. That's a full-size cannon! What's it doing in here? Oh my, it's real! I thought it might be a replica. Oh, that old thing! I know I said that I was gonna have dinner, but I'm gonna stick around long enough to explain all of this crap to you. But it's a little more than a toy. Sorry? The army was selling it off when I retired, so I decided to give it a new home. Never know when the enemy might attack next. Jolly useful to have a cannon in the house. No, it's not. Really, it isn't overkill? Be prepared, I always say. You never know what this twisted world is gonna throw at you next, boy. Do you think there may be trouble brewing, Mr. Garadeb? Always is. Take Joan here. Never fails to have a clean apron in reserve. Dries them over the barrel, you see. They dry very well on the cannon here, Joan tells me, which rather proves my point, I feel. It's been reduced to a drying rack. No wonder the huge cannon looks like it's hanging its head in shame. Yeah. Excellent credit card. Poor need to help pay, then. Oh, that does suck. What the hell? What is that? Why is there a candle on the ground there? Look at that enormous screen. It must have been put there deliberately for sure. Yes, it certainly seems like someone's trying to hide something from view. What could be behind it, I wonder? I'm going to have a very quick look. Just a little peek with them standing there. Ahem, ahem. Maybe let's not, Mrs. Otto. I think the maid is going to head us off with a cup of tea. God, I hate this woman. Can you go away? Can we kill them? That uniform looks fairly ancient, doesn't it? It's clearly been well looked after, though. That old thing? Not much better than rags, really. Oh? Or that ceremonial garb at my retirement bash, you know? But I'm not one for dwelling on the past, me. Would have gladly thrown it out, but you know how it is, yeah. Anyway, it doesn't hurt to have the odd piece of memorabilia lying around, does it? Uh-huh. Oh, I see. It looks like it's been moved recently, as well as that sword. Perhaps we should leave the past in the past. Guess we'll look at the medal. That looks like the Medal of Honor, and it's showcased in a very grand banner. It's also lopsided, like literally everything in this place. Did you set off that cannon? What shook this whole place enough that, like, everything is lopsided? It's displayed with some pride, I would say, although it bothers me that it's not straight. Like, nothing in here is. What? That whole thing? Sorry? I should be glad to see the back of it, but the general would turn in his grave if I disposed of it. The wall's the best place for it, keeps the bally thing out of my way. So it's just been polished to a shine by accident, I suppose. There appears to be an inscription on the medal itself. Look, let me see. It says, for distinguished participation. That sounds kind of mean. Sounds like the kind of honors even I could be in line for, yeah. Well, one doesn't like to blow one's own trumpet, but I was given that for my time in the army. Can't measure an officer by the number of medals on his name, of course, common knowledge in military circles. Uh-huh. That's cool. What's over here? But you were just downstairs! Why is your ass up here now? Oh, God. Hi, Herlock. What's he doing over there? Yeah, he was just reading a book. Mr. Sholmes? Aha! We meet again, my dear fellows. Also, I just realized, like, all the crockery on the right side was smashed. Good gracious! When did you sneak in here? Herlock Sholmes, at your service. Whatever were you doing over by the window? I am given to watching the evening sky as the sun sets, madame. Yet sadly cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks an aperture for such observation. So I took the liberty of borrowing a small corner of space by the window up here. Well, keep an eye out to one's windows at dusk is the prudent thing to do in London, I'm gathering. Oh, and one other thing, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, me? I thought that perhaps you might be in need of a certain great detective's great mind. Oh no, are we gonna have a dance of deduction? Wait, he's not talking about, is he? I didn't expect to be going through that again so soon. Well, prepare your buttholes for another dance. Do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? There's mighty secret in this modest room. My eyes see even the most trivial of trifles. I take it you're prepared, Mr. Naruhodo. I think so. I'm never prepared. There's just enough time for one of my greatly admired great deductions. Let us conclude the matter before dark. Oh, excuse me. Mr. Garadeb, though it would seem you're a military man of considerably distinguished service, your standing as a landlord is most certainly not what one might call first-rate. I'm afraid, sir, that it is all too clear to me. There are two conclusions I have been able to draw by careful observation of your living arrangements. I beg your pardon? The first is that even as we speak, you are concealing the presence of a ferocious beast in your care. Eh? And the second is that as a result of the beast's violent rampage, you have lost something very dear to you. Mr. Naruhodo, look! The old man's broken out into a cold sweat. Unbelievably, it seems that Mr. Sholmes' conclusions are both spot on. How could you possibly know? I don't know, because you're a terrible liar and everything, and it's just like, I'm just that good at things. How could I possibly know? You mean to inquire? The answer couldn't be simpler, sir. For in the dense jungle of logic and reasoning, I am the king of beasts. Arg! Is he now? And I know too well that wild beasts are not easily tamed. So, shall we begin? Once again, Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Topic 1. Nature of the beast. Conclusion. I guess we'll figure out the conclusion soon. Certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see that a fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these four walls. Yeah, as I just say, like all that stuff over there is smashed. Thus, we are faced with the question, what form might this beast take? For a man with military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glances, Mr. Garadeb, lead us directly to the answer. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that lion statue. What? Yes, though an army man, you appear unimposing at best. Oh, that's mean. A fact that has fueled your admiration for the mighty lion, the king of beasts. What is this piffle, I ask you? In the end, your admiration became so great, in fact, that you had a living, breathing specimen shipped from India, which you tried to keep in this very house. What? I don't know. Yet, living with such a wild beast proved more difficult than you had imagined. The traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well... Yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madame? But me? I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it was plain to me with one glance in your direction. It is? Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. For protruding from it is a handbill advertising a circus show. Ah! What? Yes, you sought to dispose of this terrifying lion, Mr. Garadeb, at Batty's Circus, a traveling show currently sojourning in a nearby park. I have observed the tents. You sold the savage lion, sir, to the circus troupe. I most certainly did not. I believe to have made my point. The fearsome beast which ran amok in this room was an Indian lion. And a simple visit to the circus now will reveal the lion prancing jubilantly through a ring of fire. Nature of the beast. Conclusion. A rampaging Asiatic lion. Well, you're wrong. Oh no, there's more. Aftermath. Conclusion. Now, Mr. Garadeb, it is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Yeah, he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Indeed, that blithe pose the distress of this loss has caused you is veritably intangible. What? Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. Amid fits of tears, you let your beloved beast go. The strain of losing something so dear to you is clearly visible in your visage. Nonsense, man, I simply... But what we must now ask ourselves is the true cause of this pain. Why is the maid? What has the maid done? Does the maid stab you? And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is the pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Every envelope contains another demand for payment. For cartloads of meat, potatoes, wheat, and tea. Indeed, feeding your beloved has had a devastating impact on the financial circumstances of your household. And so you had no choice but to let it go. Yes, well, Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast has carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable? The aftermath of which can only be seen by the observing the carpet over here. No, the candle fell. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, dearie me. What could have caused such a destructive outburst? This time, madame, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. What are you talking about? Your wandering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we don't only look at the Tower of Cakes. What? What? There's no creature more dangerous on this earth than a beast with an unsatiated appetite. Was it, or was it not once said by a certain noblewoman, if they have no bread, let them eat cake? What? Food is at the heart of this tragedy, of all tragedy, in fact. Whatever do you mean? Having tired of the taste of cake, the beast began to stalk its next prey. I don't think lions eat cake. I just feel that they don't. I'm sure I need not spell out the nature of this final act of destruction carried out by the beast. There is only one logical conclusion. Worked into a frenzy by hunger, the lion attacked and ate the carpet. No, the teeth marks on the carpet are a perfect match with those of a lion I once saw in India. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. The lion ate the carpet. I don't know about this, sir. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this beastly puzzle. Okay, after all that talk, I need to get some water. Ugh. Other stuff to drink. What is the matter with you, Joan? You're pouring scalding hot tea all over me. Well, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Garadeb. I'm afraid I didn't notice. Well, that's what makes you a terrible maid. My deductions can be startlingly sharp. It stands to reason that your cup runneth over. Indeed, my revelations can make people spill tears at times, too. Oh. Mr. Sholmes, sorry to butt in again, but could I make an observation? Your deductions suck. Why, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. What is it, again? Well, your deductions just now, do you really think a lion could have fit inside a room of this size? Indeed, it is the only explanation for the facts. The terrifying truth is all too often lies beyond the realms of common sense. Wouldn't it be an idea to consider what lies in the realm of common sense as well? But if an uncaged lion had run amok in this very room, surely Mr. Garadeb and his maid would have been hurt, or worse. Ah, that's where you are stuck. No doubt the former military man held his own against the beast using that large cannon. But you said they sold the lion to the circus. And what about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing. But I don't believe I have ever heard of a lion that drinks tea or eats cake. Ah, my dear Miss Susato, it occurs to me with some regularity that irrespective of a race of breeding, whenever anyone lands on Great British soil, they are infused with a highly appropriate taste for afternoon tea. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Oh, what a glorious notion. No, Susato, it's dumb. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it's your turn to shine again. I had a feeling that was coming. A slight massage, that's all Mr. Sholmes' deductions need. You can do it. More like they need to be reimagined. Excellent. I've been waiting for my trusty partner in deduction to step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. I don't even know whether yet this is going to help with Mr. Natsume's case. Still, uncovering the truth is always worthwhile, whatever the motivation. At least, that's what I want to believe. Let us start again from the beginning of Herlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular. Course correction. Okay. And I'm trying to see. We're just gonna let this play. I'm not gonna read it again because we already read it once. What form might the beast take? I don't know. Is it the form of him being angry or something? Or I don't know. It rather seems that some beast did indeed run amok. Yes, something with a very fierce nature. But it couldn't have been a lion transported from India. So what was it then? We must follow Mr. Garadeb's gaze. That will lead us to the true answer. What really caused the damage in this room? Oh, angle. Was it the mortar shells? These are shells for the cannon, are they? What a strange place to keep them. I imagine they have some significance to Mr. Garadeb from his time in the army. Of course, he mentioned a battle to us before, didn't he? Do you remember he said he'd been shot in the knee? Perhaps it was one of these that hit him. Around that size hit his knee, there'd be nothing left of it, or Mr. Garadeb for that matter. Mr. Sholmes has a Persian slipper. This man has spent shells. Perhaps it's customary in Britain to display, well, rubbish on the mantelpiece. What is that? What? What's this photograph? Appears to be Mr. Garadeb's wedding. Are they married? He looks very happy, doesn't he? So it's not a true maid. He does, but you can't make out his bride. It's so easy to tell. Now, how unfortunate. Something must have struck the glass directly over the woman's face. I wonder what happened. Probably best not to delve too deeply in here. The glass is broken, so you can't see the bride's face at all. But no amount of cracks could hide the woman's plump form. I think powerful would be kinder than plump, Mr. Naruhodo. Yeah, she certainly looks that. There's a lot of horsepower there. Wow. Not someone you'd want to upset, that's for sure. Oh, look, have you noticed her wedding ring? It's very large, isn't it? Yes, that's an unusual design. Looks like some sort of embellished sunflower. This must have been when Mr. Garadeb was still in the army. He seems to be carrying his rather stout bride effortlessly and beaming a smile at the same time. I suppose he was very strong in his younger years. Hard to imagine now, he's thin as a rake. Well... Well, what else? What is going on? All right, I guess I have to look at the lion statue. Well, this is the lion statue that Mr. Sholmes picked out. Yes, I wonder, perhaps if you did live with a lion, it would prove to be a rather sweet companion. I think that's like a mouse trying to tell its family that the cat around the house is sweet. I suppose it is a bit of a flight of fancy, isn't it? Anyway, the beast we're looking for is something else. Let's have a good look around. Okay, so it's not that. It's not the mortar shell. What are we looking for? No, we... Ah, God, I thought there was a way to speed this up. What else does it want me to look at? Oh, this is actually pissing me off. Like, what the hell? I looked at everything, and nothing has... Yeah, newlywed bride. His face. What are we looking at? I'm not seeing anything new show up. Oh boy, this is what is this? These are shells from, yeah. Okay, I just hold the B. Okay, what really caused the damage is this? I don't know. I can only look left and right. I can't look around, like, at anything else. What am I supposed to be looking at if it's not the lion statue? Do I need to present the order shells? Because if they're spent, even them falling in the flour wouldn't be, When you say the wife? Well, let's try presenting those. Mortar shells. The true identity of the beast that tore this room apart is these shells, with their butter wouldn't melt accomplice, the cannon. But war is good for nothing, and it only brings destruction, something we must all strive to understand. What precisely was your intention with that, Mr. Naruhodo? Just following the natural progression of deduction, sometimes the truth hurts. Well, the truth is, you do not have a turn for the observational or the deduction. Did that hurt? Yes, a lot. Well, is it the statue then? Well, we knew the destructive creature, and that is the destructive creature the wife? Is it it was his wife? Okay, it's got to be the wife. We're gonna present the wife. Present. Newlywed bride. Oh, I think that's right then. Okay, that seems to be right. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that newlywed bride. Precisely, Mr. Naruhodo. No other explanation could possibly fit, but you were totally down with the lion. Yes, this frame print pictures your wife, Mr. Garadeb. And while we lament the fact that her face is obscured, we can still make out her mighty arms and note the considerable horsepower they must contain. Who says that? Oh, indeed, surely any woman of such powerful constitution would be honored to be described as a beast. No! Honored might be stretching a point. Too late. The fact remains that the beast which so clearly savaged this room was your wife, Mr. Garadeb. Garg! Wow, that's rude. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well, Yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. It's right there. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madame? Show us your hands. Me? I pray you do not consider me chivalrous, but it is plain to me that with one glance in your direction, it is? Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the current. No, it's not the dress pocket. The poor, fragile, defenseless woman is beside herself. Don't call her that. Well, I don't know about fragile. Oh, dear. Anyway, Mr. Sholmes is quite right. There's no sign of Miss Garrideb anywhere. It seems there may be a clue as to her whereabouts. A clue that this maid is trying to hide. I wonder where Mr. Garrideb's wife could be. I don't know. What if we look at the humongous ring on her finger? She's wearing a very large ring. Look. Oh yes, a sunflower design with some rather nice embellishments. And it's on the ring finger of her left hand, which means surely a wedding ring. Looks like it's on there for life too. Can't imagine it would slide off a finger that size. Wow. That's something to think, Mr. Naruhodo. Not to say. Do you know Mr. Garrideb's wife in the photograph had a ring very much like this one? The large sunflower design as well. Really, you have a great memory for these things. And a large sunflower wedding ring. It's quite a coincidence they have the same ring, isn't it? It's not a coincidence. It's literally presented. Your wedding ring gives us a handsome, yeah. Yeah, the beast's current whereabouts, yes. Ah! Indeed it does. That flowery band gleaming on your finger gives you away. For it is identical to the one shown on the hand of Mr. Garrideb's bride in the photograph. In other words, you are no ordinary household maid. No. You are Mr. Garrideb's lucky bride. You are Miss Garrideb herself. Oh my word! So you're not actually a maid. You just wanted to make yourself look like you had a higher standing. Well, jolly fine detecting, sir. As you rightly surmise, this is my wife, yes, my Joan. Rather let herself go, you might say, but she was a bally corker back. Arrgh! Yeah, well, you deserve that one. It would appear that you don't live in the most comfortable of circumstances. After all, you are a retired army man, yet you are in the business of renting rooms. I would assume, therefore, that you have insufficient means to employ a maid. Would that be correct? It's not right, I tell you. I was 2nd Lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment. A man has his pride, don't you know? By golly, it's a sorry thing when a champ can't even afford to have a single maid in employ. Yes, here in London, one is rather judged. A household cannot be considered worthy of society if it employs no staff at all. Though in my considered opinion, such concerns about appearances are a folly. You mean that Mr. Garrideb has his wife to work as his maid? Precisely, am I right, Mr. Garrideb? Only in company, obviously. But listen here, this must remain a secret. Tip-top secret, please. I mean, I don't care. Nature of the Beast, the raging wife of Mr. Garrideb, wow. It's plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Yeah, because it's his wife. Indeed, that okay, I'm gonna turn off auto and we're gonna skips because supporting arm. Mr. Sholmes is quite something. He's still calling Mr. Garrideb's wife a beast. Yeah. Yes, as a woman, that feels rather uncomfortable. But Ms. Garrideb is standing beside her husband as we speak. In other words, he hasn't lost his beloved at all, has he? Oh, how true. So perhaps that supporting arm that seems to be propping up his head has some other significance then. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garrideb's pain is tangible though. What could that pose of his really signify? Whoa, oh, is it It's not that. I'm looking at her ass right now. The cane. So I can look at his arm. What else is there around this room? Let's look at his arm really quick. Mr. Garrett certainly looks glum. According to Mr. Schulb's deduction, that's because he's having to endure the acute pain of losing something dear to him. We know that he hasn't lost his wife. What has he lost? His pride? So that means there must be another cause for the pain he's suffering. Okay. Slapped cheek. Oh! Could it be that? Oh my, look at that bright red mark. Gosh, that's quite something, and clearly made by somebody's hand. Yes, Mr. Garadev has been slapped on the face, it seems, hard. I've never seen a clearly defined mark. Whoever could have done such a thing. Well, there's certainly a very limited number of candidates, I'd say. Slap cheek, present. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. The pain you feel is because of your slapped cheek. And of course, the deliverer of that impressive mark on your cheek that refuses to fade, haha, was you, Madam Joan Garadeb. Well, yes. You have been desperate to hide the slap mark on your cheek, sir. Darn! How in blazes? How did you work that out, man? Nothing escapes the notice of one trained in the art of deduction. That's why you haven't looked directly at us even once. Yeah, because your face. To keep us from seeing the side view. Well, Now let us proceed to the conundrum. Why were you subjected to such a violent slap? In other words, we must ask ourselves what caused Madame Garadev to fly into a rage. If it wasn't the bills, what else was it? We only need to follow in the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is a pile of bills. No, it's not the pile of bills. Didn't Mr. Sholmes say the bills are all for lion fodder? Yes, but now we've established that the lion never existed, which can only mean that the thing responsible for gobbling up all that food was Mr. Garadeb's wife. Mr. Naruhodo, she's a person, not a thing. Yes, well, she's also a person who gave her husband a mighty slap round the face. One so hard that it left a perfect hand mark, in fact. Yes, why would a woman want to hit her husband with such force, I wonder? I'd love to know the answer to that question. Let's find out. What is this? Bookmark. Ah, someone must be reading this book at the moment. There's a bookmark here, look. Mr. Garadeb is clearly an avid reader. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think this is a bookmark. Oh no, so it isn't. It's a note written in a woman's hand. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Oh, and look next to the signature here. Lip marks, made with lipstick. Oh, what a passion and a romantic gesture. How can an idea, Cesaro-san? Oh dear, I'm sorry. So this bookmark is actually a love note then. Oh, from not his wife. It's probably that. Oh, so she went nuts. So they didn't notice the murder because of the fact that they got into a fight. Yes, it is a love note that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Passionate indeed. Perhaps the sender of this note, a certain Miss Mary, is the fly in the ointment here? But I don't know the bally woman. You don't know her? That note wasn't written to me. It was just in the book. I don't know how it got there. It was just in the book, you say? That's right. Well, that's what I've been saying. Darg! A likely story. Now listen here, Joan, old thing. I explained at the time. I bought the book at that secondhand place, and the note was in there. So the previous owner of that book was using the note as a bookmark, you mean? That's right, that's what I've been saying. Ah! Okay, God, stop it. Like, seriously. A likely story. For heaven's sake, woman, look at the name. It's written to James. My name, in case you'd forgotten, is John. Ah! Yeah, like, okay, I hate these people. A likely story. Like, can we just kill her? Are you questioning my name now? And there we have it. Arouse the suspicions of the female heart and you unleash a beast with the most ferocious bite. Sexist much? Ugh. Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable? Oh yeah, aftermath. Well, I feel like they dropped the candle. Ah. Oh, dearie me. Could have caused such a destructive outburst. I don't know. It's time, madame. I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. What? Okay, we have to wait for them to get to the point again. To explain the dire state of the carpet. Tower of Cakes. Okay, we have to change the Tower of Cakes. But surely Miss Garadeb didn't eat the carpet? No, of course not. Don't listen to this man. But there doesn't seem to be any doubt that the state of disarray in this room is the result of her wild temper. No, that's true. So this is the last part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction that we need. We only need to follow Miss Garadeb's gaze, and that will tell us the real answer. All right, let's see what we can see. Circus handbill. This is an advertising handbill for the circus. Batty's Circus. It's in a nearby park. Isn't the same as the one we saw before? The one folded up in Mr. Garadeb's pocket? Or missing? Perhaps they're great circus lovers. It couldn't be that hungry lion is somehow involved again here, could it? Oh dear, I do hope not. I don't know. Zoom? Carpet here has been ripped to shreds. Yes, and according to Mr. Sholmes' deduction, the tears match those made by an Indian lion's teeth exactly, really. Look here. There's a candle. What is it? If you look closely at the edge, you can see scorch marks. Oh yes, you can. Oh no. Did the batteries run out? Oh, the batteries ran out of the controller. Just a second, guys. Yeah. Ugh. I guess I had to use this controller a lot more than I thought. In that case, perhaps the carpet wasn't eaten in the normal sense at all. Maybe, let's think that with, yeah, it was eaten by fire. What, oh gosh. What left the carpet in such a state? Fire. Oh. Let's look at the candlestick. It's missing a candle, so that's probably what we're presenting. The base looks too small. Surely it's very unstable. Looks to me like even the slightest knock would make it topple over. Oh dear, that would be dangerous. Yeah. Wait, take a closer look at this. It's missing a candle. There's one candle missing. Yes, I didn't notice that before. Why is that, I wonder? Why is one candle of the three missing from its holder? I don't know, bro. You tell me. Present it. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the candlestick. Most illuminating, my dear fellow, and of course, the only possible way out of this logical labyrinth. Yes, the remnants of a ferocious attack in which the carpet was devoured are clearly visible. Indeed, they are. The scorch marks at the edge clearly give the truth away that it wasn't a lion. Scorch marks? It would appear that this room was the scene of a little marital altercation. Ms. Garadev's mighty arm muscles left an impression not only on her husband's face, but on this whole room, but on the entire room, for the force of her strike caused a candle to fall from its holder. And in seconds, the carpet was alight and the whole corner of the room in flames. Yes, sir. For the most ferocious beast in the world is neither a violent lion or a vengeful woman. And in this room, that ferocious beast bared its claws and ran amok. Eloquently put, my dear fellow. So you see, there is but one conclusion. After the sparks of marital discord flew, this room was put in disarray. Mr. Sholmes, sir, I salute you! Well, bye. I did it. I killed him. Oh! Oh! Oh boy, carpet scorched by a small fire. Solved. Deduction complete. Elementary, we did it. Oh man, that was a lot of effort. It's these dashing long winter nights, you know, nothing to do but read in front of the fire. Luckily, there's a jolly good secondhand bookshop just around the corner. Buy all my novels there. And in the pages of one particular novel, you discovered some rather illicit material. For which your wife admonished you harshly, it seems. Don't know about admonished. Demolished might be rather close to the mark. And beast is most certainly an apt description. Ah, yeah, very funny. Here we go again, yeah. And the carpet, was that destroyed by a fire when the candle fell on the floor? Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of the eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see bally thing, so you're not witnesses. I was caught between the old Styx rage and the raging flames. You paint a torrid picture, sir. One that would have been most entertaining. That's sympathy for you. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bally furniture started going up as well. We had to hide the mess behind that screen for the time being. Over here, Mr. Garadeb? Well, you have nothing more to hide now, if you'll allow me. Holy moly. That's pretty bad. Had all my favorite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got a hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. Gosh. Then the wife started hurling things at me. What a terrible sight it might have been. There was I. Oh, worst of it, I lost my favorite book called The Lion's Pride. Lion's Pride? Ah, yes. Your notorious love of big cats coming through again. Assure you the title didn't influence my choice at all. Oh, just a second. So the poor man really did lose something dear to him as a result. Ordered some food. Just got here. We're probably gonna finish up after this. Mr. Sholmes' deduction turned out to be the correct once again. After a bunch of help from me, it can only be described as a great British wonder. I tell you, it was total carnage, flames everywhere, and the old stick in full fettle. Out of interest, what time of day was it?
Not sure I can remember. It was 2 days ago now. Let's see. Around 5 o'clock, I think, which means you're not witnesses. We just spent like 2 hours to figure that out. So at the same time as a terrifying incident was unfolding outside your window on the street below. Even more terrifying on the inside, I can assure you. The whole Blighty would have been flattened outside my window at that moment, and I wouldn't have noticed a dashed thing. Oh, really? Cool. This was an utter, complete waste of time. Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Mr. Naruhodo? What can I do for you? Well, I think we've got to the bottom of Mr. Garrideb's situation now. But what does it have to do with Mr. Natsume's circumstances? I can't help you there, I'm afraid. What? My dear fellow, if you recall, I did say as much from the outset. I warned you that although I knew the retired army man to be hiding something, I could not be sure whether his secret would prove to be of relevance or not. I just knew you were gonna say that. Now, Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't lose heart. Bear in mind that all things fall into one of only two categories, those relevant to the case and those not. That makes no sense to me. Well, no matter. It is of far greater importance that you make up your mind now. Sorry? Visiting hours at the prison will soon be over. Oh no, is it that time already? If we're to accept Mr. Natsume's case, we have official paperwork to attend to. So that's it. No more time to think. Perhaps you'd like to betake yourselves to bidding us farewell now. I must prepare supper for Mr. Garrideb. Oh, yes, I'm so sorry. Thank you both very much for your time, I guess. Saseki-san will be waiting for us, and I'm going to have to give him an answer. Okay, now we can finally go back. My gosh. To the prison. It's time, Naruhodo. We must get back quickly. Yes, I know. Let's hail a carriage. Oh, what's the matter? Looks like something's going on over there in front of the Garrideb's house. Ah, please. Just let me talk to this man. Who are you? I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. Who you calling an old man, you rum-looking ninny-pinny? Who are you? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. Who's this Horatio fella? What are you on about? Like, what? How many more characters do I need to be introduced to? I just want to take on this guy's trial! Excuse me? What in the... Who are you now? I'm sorry, it just looked as though there might be some problem here. And my associate here, Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, is a lawyer, you see. Please, stop bringing me up for everything. A lawyer? What? If I can be of any assistance, I'd be happy to help. I'm from Japan, but I have studied English law. Why? Who? Fine, I'll be on my way for today, but you mark my words, I'm not a cop. This ain't over yet. Why did he just pull a pose? Get thee to a nunnery. Do I look like a bloomin' nun to you? What is happening? I don't want to deal with this foppish man. I just want to go to the prison. I do hope you're not injured. Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so gentle, thank you. What's all that about? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. I'm not Horatio either. Forgive the inquiry, sir, but, are you a lodger here? In the Garrideb residence? Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so right, and yes, I do dwell in this humble abode. Mr. Garrideb mentioned he had another lodger, didn't he? This must be the man. Why is he lodging in such a horrible place? Do you happen to know the other lodger who lives on the first floor? Oh, yes, a gentleman named Natsume. Oh, more worthy a polemist in the battle of words ne'er. What? Sorry, battle did you say? Who is the stronger, Hamlet or Macbeth? Mr. Natsume and I sparred long at night. I see. Knowledge, buddies? I don't fully understand, but it seems Mr. Natsume and this gentleman are acquaintances at least. So, fair maiden, so good gentleman. I can tarry here no longer. Fare thee well. Okay, good. I was like, I don't want to talk to this man right now. I really didn't understand him, but I think he's returned to his room. It seems he's unaware of what happened to Mr. Natsume. Saseki-san and that man is lodged. The Garrett house is certainly full of eccentrics. Anyway, I'll go and find a carriage. Finally. Yes, I'm sure Mr. Natsume is eagerly awaiting our turn. So I can get to the prison before our visiting hours are over. I hope so too. Otherwise this will be a waste of our time. Oh, there he is. Yes, yes. Oh god, they actually taped this shut. Oh, oops. Hey Soseki, how are you doing? Oh, it's you! You're here! You came! Locum student of Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, I can't believe you came back! I'm so touched! Cool. We are so sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Natsume. No, think nothing of it. Relax. If I were a cat, I would purr with pleasure at the company of such fine compatriots. Noble, nurturing, never failing Nipponese. Thanks. Now let's not get carried away, please. Oh, I quite agree. There's nothing more reassuring than the familiarity of one's native land. On the other hand, it is through friendship transcending international borders that one truly appreciates the fact. Such is my belief, at least. Oh, it's you! The miserable, rotten spy! Ere Sherlock Holmes. What? Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing here? I have no intention of doing anything, per se, save observing, of course. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Well, having encountered some curious reading material in that gloomy room, and having unmasked the secret identity of that eccentric pair, I decided I should drop in on my way home to see how our divested friend is faring. Gloomful room? At least your accommodation here offers a window, my dear fellow. In that sense, it is the superior option. Anyway, I must commend you on your taste in books. My day has been a delight and cost me not a penny. Are you? How dare you, Airlock Sholmes? Ugh. I've had it. I'm through. I'm at the end of my rope. I should never have come to Great Britain. It was a terrible mistake. Haunted by spirits in those accursed lodgings, no doubt my luck will be cursed in tomorrow's trial as well. My whole life is bedamned! What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? He mentioned that once before, didn't he? That his lodgings were cursed, I mean. And there is much truth in Mr. Mustache's words. What? Cursed is a wholly appropriate description, I would say. For the man's lodgings and indeed for tomorrow's trial. Wow, thanks. What's that supposed to mean? Oh, I haven't touched anything in a while. Oh, God, what now? Oh, Kurt. There's so much talking! It's just never ending. What do you mean by what you said just now? About the trial tomorrow being cursed. Oh no, why? Why are you looking so grave? You're making me nervous. No, I'm just getting carried away, that's all. I didn't mean anything by it. Oh, I see. That's really agitated him. You don't mean the trial really is cursed somehow? Come on. Are you referring to the prosecutor, the Reaper of the Bailey? The Reaper? Oh no, what do you mean? Please tell me, surmise it succinctly in 16 salient words. No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for the prosecution. Ever. Oh my goodness, can it really be true? That was 16 words exactly! God damn. Yesterday, Mr. Naruhodo successfully defended somebody against the Reaper, but then after the trial was over, I don't know if we should tell this man about that. The defendant passed away in unusual circumstances. Mr. McGill did. What? I am impressed, Miss Susato. You have an eye for detail. Actually, the Lord Chief Justice told us. Mr. Sholmes, surely it can't be that having failed to the accused convicted, Lord Van Zeeks killed the man himself. Oh no, he couldn't have, surely. Ah, ha, 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 ha. You have some wonderful notions. Sorry. The man isn't a mad murderer, he's a court prosecutor, my dear fellow. Oh, yes, why, of course he is. Ah, of course he is, then why are you trying to scare me? It could be said, however, that the real truth about the man is even more terrifying than your hypothesis. Huh? What on earth do you mean by that? No! Ah, please! Jesus! They've already talked so fucking much. Give me a break. Van Zeeks is quite the exceptional man. However, in London's court of law, exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception. Ah, that's good. Suzuki-san looks like he's gonna cry tears of joy. As you are no doubt aware, in a British criminal trial, there is both a judge and a jury. The judge officiates based on the letter of the law, whilst the jury offers public opinion and common sense. It is an excellent system whereby the defendant's guilt is considered from several points of view. However, public opinion in particular is somewhat easily manipulated. Right? Criminals and corrupt lawyers, for that matter, can use it to their advantage. By any means at their disposal, contriving evidence, calling imposters as witnesses, and so on. By such underhand means, those who would want are able to sway the jury, which means even in the light of irrefutable evidence, prosecution can fail. But it means the wrong verdict can be passed. And sadly, from time to time, my dear madame, it is simply the reality of the situation. And that's all right? However, those indicted by Lord Van Zeeks cannot escape justice. Oh my. Though the adjudication may see them leave courtroom with their freedom. Within months, they all disappear. It is most striking. Disappear, but how? By all manner of misfortune, sir. Perhaps they're trampled under a passing carriage. Perhaps they fall into the Thames and drown. Perhaps they are suddenly overcome by a raging fever, or perhaps attacked. Oh, no. All examples of the reality of events here in London, I'm afraid. Well, cool. Let's scare him some more. Ha! I knew it. I'm a dead dodo, done for, doomed! Okay, cool. Can I talk to you about more stuff now? Let's talk about your cursed lodgings. God, I hope this is over soon. I'm starting to, get a headache. When you said accursed lodgings before, you're referring to your room. Do you say to me you believe the place is cursed? Plus, I'm hungry, so that probably doesn't help. It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain. A year? But I'd only been in London a week before I started to notice strange feelings in myself. That didn't take long then. Everywhere I looked, there were foreign faces staring at me, laughing behind my back. I was sure people were talking about me. I started to become nervous about going outside. They were always staring at me all the time from dawn till dusk. So I shut myself away in my room. But even that didn't help. The fear wouldn't go away. You must have been very lonely, being away from your homeland for so long. I had to move a number of times. Most recently, to that room on Briar Road a week ago. Yes, why did you choose there? It seems a little inconvenient. The rent is cheap. I have so little money, it appealed to me straight away. Of course, I asked why it was so affordable. The landlord just simpered and said, "The room is cursed." Whoops. He quickly tried to cover his mistake, but it was too late. So I told him, "If you have something to say, then say it. But if not, don't mention it in the first place." Yes, well said. But it was true. It was all true. You mean the room really is cursed then? Ever since I moved into that windowless hellhole, my sleep has been plagued with nightmares. I awake feeling as though I'm being choked to death. And in my waking hours, people are stabbed in front of me as I walk down the street. I'm branded a killer, thrown in prison. Nobody wants to know me. I'm I'm surrounded by scary, sinister spirits. If only there was someone, just one person on my side. Oh, go. Can no one find it in his or her heart to believe in me? Really, no one at all? To believe, yes, to believe. Ah, please, let this be the last conversation topic before the trial. Mr. Sholmes? Ah, me, Mr. Naruhodo, pray, what can I do for you? It's about the case on the SS Beria, if you recall. Beria. Ah, that case. The one with the snake. There wasn't a snake. Well, yes. After that time, I was the suspect, but you believed in me and listened to my side of the story. And you helped us to investigate. I did I? Interesting. What I want to know is why. Why did you believe me? I see, yes. You mean, because you were a grimly dressed, shady Eastern fellow found with the victim in a locked room? Well, if you like, yes. A little surprised that the answer requires explanation, my dear fellow. It's quite simple, really. You said I didn't do it, but I could have been lying. Surely you must have had your doubts. You must have suspected me a little. I think perhaps you have misunderstood. I neither recall believing in you, nor in that which you were telling me. What? You see, the only things I believe in are those that I choose to believe in. What? What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? That seems bad. Also, welcome, Berto. I make up my own mind what it is to be believed and what is not. If I should like to believe something, I do. The circumstances can hang as far as I'm concerned, but I could have betrayed your trust. In that case, I should have made an elementary error of judgment, nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse, in my opinion. Meaning, whether or not one should trust another is, in the final analysis, down to oneself. It's actually the smartest thing he said. It's a matter of whether or not one can trust oneself. Yes, he's right! He's right, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Whether or not I can believe in myself? A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in the client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. Hey, it's you. You were so right, Kazuma. Did I do it? Are we at the end of this part? Well, my dear fellows, it is time we were leaving, I believe. Already? I haven't said yes or no. Visiting hours are over. The guard will be here shortly to escort us out. There is a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me? Oh dear, there's never enough time, is there? Mr. Natsume, if you'd like, in the trial tomorrow, I'll find somebody else. No, I'd be happy to represent you. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Yeah, that's me. Don't wear it out, I guess. As I said, I'm only experienced a British courtroom for the first time yesterday. And although the man I was representing was not found guilty, I lost sight of something crucial. Something crucial? What to believe in, the defendant, justice, or the truth, how to believe them. But I think I've finally worked it out. I've decided I must believe in myself above all else, to trust my instincts. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. And my instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsume, are innocent of this crime. And it's imperative that we prove that in court. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, I will fight for your innocence until the bitter end with every weapon available to me. So I hope you'll permit me to represent you tomorrow. As I said when we first met, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who will listen to me in my native tongue. Of course, Mr. Natsume. It would be fair to say, Mr. Naruhodo, that your mind was in many ways made up from the outset. You merely needed the events of today to fully realize it. Yes, I think you're right about that. It's been a roundabout journey, but I got there in the end. Yeah, I know, I had to deal with those jerks. Miss Susato, yes? Would you be willing to stand by my side tomorrow and help me in court? Absolutely. As I said this morning, you may consider me your personal judicial assistant. The shocking events of yesterday's trial still weigh heavily on my mind, but it's time to stop looking backwards. Kazuma believed in me, and Mr. Sholmes believes in me now too, so it's time. Time that I learned to believe in myself. Saseki-san has no one. He's all alone, so it's my job to help him, to fight in his corner. Tomorrow, in the courtroom, with all the strength I can muster. To be continued? Oh, we made it! We did it! We finally made it! Oh, jeez. That was so much. We did it. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We're not going to do the trial today, because I am bushed. And also, I'm very hungry, and I have a quesadilla in front of me that needs to be eaten. But, thank you all for being here. And we'll see what happens next on the adventures of the Clouded Kokoro.